الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله الحمد لله الذي أنزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق ونور عرش أفضل الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيبنا وسيدنا وسندنا وشفيعنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب المجيد وقوله الحق وهو أصدق الصادقين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثل في التوراة ومثل في الإنجيل كالزرع أخرج شطأه فآزره فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. I begin in Allah's name, the beneficent and the merciful. Allah has created us, granted us this existence due to His infinite mercy. And the objective on this earth is for you and I to recognize His infinite mercy. And He has set a methodology by which we will recognize this through trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations are the most noble, wise way by which to realize who we really are. And when we are tested with difficulties and trials, we must never lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib says, that this life is of 2 days. One day is for you, one day is against you. No matter what you do, there'll be days, no matter what you do, even wrong things go right. And there'll be days, no matter how much right you do, things go wrong. And of course, it's a mixture of both, good and bad. Not everything is bad during the day, not everything is good during the day. There's a mixture. But he says to us in a very wise advice, he says that when things are not going well, have hope, for around the corner, good news looms. And have hope. Don't lose hope, because Allah in the Quran says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. We don't put a burden on you except that which you can handle. Meaning, even if we were to die with that difficulty, then that would be the burden Allah has placed upon us. Death is not the end of the burden. It's one of the signs of the burden. And when things are going well, don't get too excited. Don't become reckless because things are going well. Beware, for around the corner is bad news. So always be balanced. So Allah has set a beautiful example in the Quran. In Surah Al-Rahman, He says, وَأَقِيمُوا الْوَزْنَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تُخْسِرُوا الْمِيزَانَ. Maintain the balance. What is Islam? When people ask us, we tell them it's the prescription for balance. Islam is a prescription for balance. It teaches us how to manage the extremes. We don't eradicate the extremes, we manage them. The idea of eradication of extremism is not possible in reality. It's us managing. If the majority of the human race manages in a balanced way, then the extreme factors will shrink. The misbehaviors will get better. You see, but if we swing in a pendulum of wrong and right in an unimbalanced way, then it does lead to societal confusions. Unfortunately today, we have erratic behavior, extreme behavior from one side to the other. And that leads to confusion in society. But Islam as a religion is the deen of balance. When we teach our children what is right, Quran has given us so many prescriptions, precisely on what to do, what not to do, how much to give, how much not to give. But at the end of the day, the essence of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the Quran is its moral injunction in telling us the purpose of life, the hows of life, the whats of life, and the whys of life. Why? You see? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We didn't create mankind, nor the jinn, but to worship Allah. Now, I want to make it very clear. Allah did not create us to worship Him. That's not why He created us. We say this, but that's the secondary factor. Allah created us purely out of His mercy. He needs nothing. If we worship Him or not, it does nothing to Him. But the fact that we exist, then the only way to appreciate His mercy is to worship Him, because He is the wellspring of mercy. So, when there's a well that feeds you, then it's foolish to run away from it. So Allah says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ means I didn't create you, but for you to be towards the wellspring, so you get more. So this is the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has placed us on this earth and blessed us with intellect, blessed us which is internal within us, ظَاهِرَةً وَبَاطِنًا. We have consciousness, we have the self that has been perfected. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Allah is merciful. He has ensured that even if people become atheists or agnostics or in between or polytheists or monotheists or pantheists, whatever persuasion one might have in their description of how they want to live this life, Allah has stamped the self to know what is wrong and what is right. And what do you think we will be questioned on Judgment Day? While we as Muslims say we are going to be asked, are you Muslim? True, but what do you define as Muslim? See, Muslim as a verb implies fundamental principles, not the name Islam. We will be asked, did you promote good? Were you honest? Were you sincere? Were you caring? Did you share? Did you love? Did you give? Did you forgive? Now tell me, which human being is outside of these questions? By the way, that's Islam. We think it's a title stamped on our forehead, I am Muslim, so I am safe. No, not at all. Allah mentions numerous times in the Quran, safety is not in titleship. Safety is in transaction. Safety is in behavior. Tonight we're celebrating the birth of one of the greatest human beings that ever walked this earth, Imam Ali ibn Hussain Zainul Abideen alayhi salatu wassalam. We revere him for many reasons, but from a foundational perspective, his khulq, his akhlaq, he is given the title Sayyid al-Sajideen, the leaders of those who prostrated. Now you may think he's doing sujood, yes, but Sayyid Sajideen also means his akhlaq, his character was impeccable. It was so sublime, his character was so sublime, people were stunned by his presence. When you find that when the Umayyads were actually in power, not the Abbasids, when the Umayyads were in power, you find that Hisham bin Abdul Malik, as you know, was an heir apparent to the caliphate, because as you know, Marwan ibn Hakam's generation became the Khalifas after Muawiyah. Muawiyah had a dream that his generation should become Khalifa. Muawiyah put his illegitimate son Yazid. As soon as Yazid died within a few years after the atrocities he committed, as you know, in 3 years, he desecrated the Prophet's mosque, killed Imam Hussain, desecrated the Prophet's mosque, and burnt the Kaaba. In history, never has there been a person more treacherous, attacking the very foundation of Islam while sitting on the seat of Khilafah. In history, nobody's done that. But as soon as his death, it died, Marwan ibn Hakam took over, and his generation became the caliphs. So the dreams of Muawiyah faded away. But you find that Hisham bin Abdul Malik is at the Kaaba, pretending, pontificating, showing off that he's the caliph, and he's trying to touch the Hajar al-Aswad, and no one's giving him access as a prince. Suddenly there's a buzz. Everybody, there's a silence. Imagine at the Kaaba. When I'm there, when I circumambulate, I feel that footprint of our blessed Imam. And it's so powerful that we need to teach our children these kinds of messages. It's so deep fundamentally. It sounds very ideological. It's not. It's very principled, very simple. In fact, it's mind-numbingly simple. And this is my argument, that we as a Muslim community, especially lovers of Ahlul Bayt, we bicker, we fight, yet we have such great leaders. How is it possible? We find faults in each other. We are rude and harsh and crude with each other, as I mentioned. We are relentless when it comes to character assassination, and we are jealous to the teeth. Yet we love Imam Zainul Abideen. How? We cry for Imam Hussain. How? This is the contradiction. It's not rocket science. If our children understand that, and if we understand it, and our behavior comes in line, the way Ahlul Bayt were, 99% of our problems will go out the window. Marriages will be intact. Our children will not indulge in drugs. They will not indulge in illicit misbehavior. There will be minimal altercations and fights. We will be loving, caring. We will really have such a progressive society. It's unthinkable that it's so near us, yet we constantly shoot ourselves in our foot, on our feet, simply because shaitan has an agenda, and we are the biggest shayateen if we disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alihi. When we hear the story from Zainul Abideen walking at the Kaaba, our hair stands, mashallah, mashallah. You know? And Hisham is asking, who is he? Because everybody moved. Didn't have to elbow anybody, everybody just moved. In a simple, humble way he walks in. This is post-Karbala. You would think Karbala humiliated Imam Hussain. Not at all. It elevated. It elevated to such levels that today the nemesis of all the tyranny of the world is coming to a collision course, like Karbala. Because the tyrants of the world today have pacified and silenced all systems except one that refuses to submit, and it's going to continue to rise until it fulfills that verse in Surah Al-Qasas, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. You don't get there with the will of Allah, that Allah says, I desire to bring justice. It doesn't come for free. It comes with akhlaq. It comes with action and transaction. The way Allah says to Yahya ibn Zakaria, Ya Yahya, خُذِ الْكِتَابَ بِقُوَّةٍ. Oh Yahya, take the law and move. Don't sit around and complain. Do something. Imam Zainul Abideen, post the 9th, 10th of Karbala, all that killing, he's dignified. His family their heads were brought on plates. Dignified. Ridam biqada. We're satisfied. This is the Islam you and I have. Travel the world, 7.5 billion people. You won't find anything like this. With all due respect. And I'm not promoting this because, I'm telling you, go out there. There are nice stories. Nothing like this. Nothing. I swear. You find 20, 30 million people flocking at the haram of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. 30, 40 million people. Tyrants used to bomb them, shoot them, maim them, behead them, cut their limbs. They wouldn't stop. You go to the haram of Imam Rada alayhi salam, 24/7, try to get near the dhari. You can't. The West, the world is stunned. Who is this person behind that grave that commands such respect that while they have left 14 centuries ago, these people just can't get enough of these people? That's the Islam we have. Yet, practically, fundamentally, we're seen to be in a state of paralysis. This is what bothers me the most. Progression, future of our children. Too many of our children are dying in drugs and self-inflicted wounds and suicides. Too many in our communities. I hear stories of teenagers killing themselves, overdosing in drugs. We are a small community who have been chosen, placed in the Western world to be the guiding light for others. Our own children are being infected by this. Something is seriously wrong. Then while we celebrate these great personalities and we commemorate them, somehow we're missing the boat. Believe me, when we talk about Imam Zainul Abideen, kings used to shudder at their presence, unafraid. If you listen to stories of how our imams faced tyrants, the average can't do it. But Mamun says to Imam Rada, I have decided, you are the successor to this Khilafah. I've decided, the seat belongs to you. You would think Imam would get excited. 8th Imam. alayhi salam. Imam Rida, alayhi salatu wasalam. Our Imams don't sell their souls. They're not for sale. Mahmud is trying to pander, is trying to patronize the Imam, thinking, okay, Ahlul Bayt have been so abused, they've been so denied, it's time to flip it, you see, give them a lot, maybe we'll corrupt them. Allah says, رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. They don't bargain. Don't even try it, you foolish people. Foolish! Imam Rida looks at him and says, since you admit that that Khilafah does not belong to you, who authorized you to give it to me? What a brilliant question. Who authorized you to hand it to me? It's not yours. It's not. I cannot take somebody's property and hand it and say it is yours. Who are you? And he says, since you admit, get off that pulpit. Get off that throne. This is the Imam. Where? Huh? In a city of strangers. It was known as Gharib al-Ghuraba. He didn't have his people around him, but Imam didn't care. He says, he will poison me. This Mamun will poison me. I don't care. I'm a man of truth and principles. These are the leaders we have. Yet we have bickerings in our community. We have fights. We're not progressing. We have nitpicking, fault finding for decades. All I hear is in meetings within our community on petty, dumb little things. We haven't grown. Our communities should have schools, gymnasiums, facilities. We don't have infrastructure, so our children get lost on the sidelines. Generations don't even come to our centers, not even to listen to us. The message we have is bar none. You go to university, you do PhD at Harvard, you will learn secular knowledge. You can't compare this knowledge to that. This is supreme. Ask the world and you will see that the moral argument is the foundation of all arguments. Look at people like Charlie Rose. Look at people like Kevin Spacey. You look at people like Bill O'Reilly making 9 figures, $100 million. They're falling like flies. Harvey Weinstein, a monster, where you couldn't enter Hollywood without this man abusing a woman. Rich, powerful, shameless. No akhlaq. We teach our children, son, go, make a lot of money, be popular, get famous, let the world worship you. But then you have indecency. Presidents today, caught with prostitutes. It's like everybody's shrugging their shoulder. Yeah, that's how it is. The Prophet said there'll come a time where haram will become halal and halal will become haram. Where to hold on to the way of Allah will be like holding red charcoal. It'll be so difficult. Should we become victims of such, or should we take care of ourselves? We are too blessed. You know, if you and I were lost in the dark with no GPS and we're moving in circles, maybe we could say, oh yeah, Allah, we're lost. There's no light. What excuse do we have? Allah said, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. We have Quran. We have 124,000 prophets. We have the Kaaba. We have the graves. We have the harams. We have the 14 Masumin staring at us. We put their symbols right here to try to remind us of who they are. But where is the translation? I'm being critical on this because it's time to move. Allah loves people to move. And I don't point a finger. There are things the community is doing is very good. I remember 40 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, when, sports was formed, Union Sports. My father was involved in New York. And the Allentown community, known to be very good in volleyball. Right? Your forefathers here, they're all here. And we would get together, and we'd travel to Toronto, and we'd do it here, and we'd come to New York. It's nice. But listen to the talk. Rude, crude, harsh sometimes. Sometimes embracing. There's a beautiful brotherhood, but Allah is watching. Wallahu basirun bima ta'malun. How do you talk to each other? Do you honor each other? While there is camaraderie, there's team challenges. Each team wants to win, wants to take it. MashaAllah. Holistically, those programs are wonderful. How many generations we have saved just through those programs? Why don't we do more of those? Why don't we enhance them but build spirit into it so our children don't go on the wayside? How many in our community have become role models for other younger generation? We're all busy. Oh, I got married, I'm busy. I got a job, I'm busy. But there are youth that need us. These youth, some of their fathers don't even talk to them. I'm hearing stories of children whose fathers never hug their children. They show up once a week. I know kids who are so depressed, then we brand them as ADHD, attention deficit. Give him this kind of drug and put this kind of drug on them. That's it, solution. Somebody's got a problem, throw a pill at them. What happened to sitting down? What happened to eye-to-eye conversation? What happened to that human touch? You know how priceless that touch is? It's amazing when you sit with a child or an adult and shake hands and you break the barriers. It's 1,000 times more powerful. It leads to connection. Research has shown, Harvard did the longest research in history, 70 plus years, where they took teenagers 70 years ago. And they asked them, what do you want? They said, we want to be rich and famous. 70 years later, after following them, they concluded that's all false. They, with their own tongue, said, having good social relationships that have value, where you can lean on a person and believe in camaraderie, is better than all the wealth and all the glamour. If you look at the Quran, it's all about that. You find when Allah says, Ya ayyatuha an-nafsul mutma'inna, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya, fadkhuli fi ibadi, wadkhuli jannati. Look at the principles of the Quran, that when a person has reached high pinnacles, that they are dying now, and Allah is taking their soul, well pleased, Ya ayyatuha an-nafsul mutma'inna, irji'i, come back, ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya, come back, your Lord is well pleased. Radiyatan mardiyya. It's a very deep expression. There's one thing to say mardiyya, but radiyatan mardiyya is very deep. Fadkhuli fi ibadi. Therefore enter among the servants, the good ones. Fadkhuli fi ibadi. Wadkhuli jannah. Therefore enter paradise. Our goal in life in the future is not to enter paradise. It's to be among the best. That is paradise. In this world, the same thing. When you and I hang around good people, it's paradise. No one backbites you. You turn around. You don't have to lock your door. As Imam Zainul Abideen speaks to his companion, he says, you know what a true believer is? When he puts his hand in your pocket and takes what is his share and you don't ask him. He says, have you seen people like that? Have you seen? What are you doing? Wait. Why are you putting your hand in my pocket? Stop. Lock it. Don't trust him. Imam says that's where belief has taken a detour, doesn't have faith. So the reason I'm saying this is honestly to inspire us within the growth of this community, otherwise Allah will replace us, is we have an urgency by which to establish positive transactions. And the reactions, we don't have to work hard. It will just grow. Our children will be moral. They will be rich and they will be powerful, but moral. Not like the Charlie Roses and the Bill O'Reillys and the President of the United States, where there is no regard for morality. It's all about my wealth and I've got $1 billion. It's all about just flaunting money. Allah says, look at them. They think that this will help them. No, all this fades away. All, even Malcolm Forbes, as he was dying, he would fly his friends on his island. You tell the doctor, I'll give you $1 million more, save me. The doctor laughs at you, says, I can't. Not a dime of your money. In fact, the burden when you're leaving is, who am I going to give all this money to? And the family is going to tear each other apart to go take my money. I built an empire. Allah says, okay, hasibu qabla tuhasabu. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, he says, this man holds this wealth, but then when he goes down there, he has to account for it while others are using it. Imagine your wealth is being used by someone else, but you're doing the accounting. That's an insult. See? But we have to teach this to our children. So tonight, within the remembrance of Imam Zainul Abideen's birth, as you know, he was born 38 years after Hijrah. And in Karbala, he was about 22, 23 years of age. And his name is given Ali. As you know, he came under the tutelage of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, after Imam Ali alayhi salam became shaheed shortly thereafter. And he was raised with Imam Hassan and of course his father Imam Hussain, and ultimately ended up in Karbala. His khulq, his akhlaq, was of such sublime character. As I say, here's an heir apparent, Umayyad caliph, arrogant, and by the way, I've seen that arrogance when I go there. Okay? I see it. These illegitimate princes who walk around, right? Made legitimate by the British Empire. I watch them. I says, you're nothing. You're wasting your time. Unless you submit, you will regret this. But he was pontificating. The Imam walks in simple. He says, who is he? Farazdak jumps out and says, Araftu, you know him. You know him. He says, you know who he is? He says, he is the son of the Kaaba. He is the son of Safa and Marwa. You know, but Farazdak goes so far, he says, when he approaches the black stone, it brings its hand out. It's a poetry. Not that the black stone is waiting to be touched. It's so honored that it puts its acceptance. He says, this is the son of the prophets, the son who never said no to anything good. Never. That's his honor. This is the khulq we must be teaching our children. Believe me, it doesn't come where I'm going to teach my child if I don't practice it. It's not going to come if I don't consider myself liable and become that role model for my child. This is how Imam Zainul Abideen ﷺ was, and I want to share a few of these verses of the Quran in light of what we should be doing. If we claim that we love Ahlul Bayt, then one and most important thing is to look in the mirror and say, I am the problem, therefore I am the solution. You and I are the solutions to our problems. I believe we are the universe. What is the universe outside is peripheral. The real universe is in me. And on Judgment Day, I promise you, Allah says, on that day, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ وَاخْشَوْا يَوْمًا لَا يَجْزِي وَالِدٌ عَنْ وَلَدِهِ وَلَا مَوْلُودٌ هُوَ جَازٍ عَنْ وَالِدِهِ شَيْئًا إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. On that day, no father will help the son, nor the son will help the father. It's a promise. What will happen on that day? You'll say, nafsi, nafsi, nafsi. Why nafsi? Because that's the only universe that counts. So why don't we do it now? How? Let's be good role models. Let's bite our tongues. Let's start to forgive. You hear a gossip? Say, excuse me. If the person is not here, I don't want to hear it. Because lest I meet that person and I have a negative attitude about that person, because I heard something negative, I'm going to have to approach this to fix it. You will find the gossiper can no longer gossip because they're getting resistance. Sadly, there are too many ears listening to gossip. Too many. Allah said, لا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه. Do not do ghibah one against the other. Do you like to eat the flesh of your dead brother? That's what you are doing, and it's disgusting, Quran says. Character assassination. So I'm aligning celebrations, commemorations. We have the best role models, and it's not difficult. Let me explain. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. One time I was going to ziyarah with my family. We were at Mehrabad International Airport, the old airport, not the IK, the old airport. And it was chaos. Unfortunately, lying concepts are not very prevalent in the Muslim world. It's the elbow. Sadly, that's the reality. With all due respect, as sophisticated as we once were, somehow, I don't know how we fell so bad, where we just don't have the concept of lying. The Westerner is laughing at us. Look at us, we're so sophisticated. But remember, there was a time, they were the barbarians. When the crusade was taking place, these guys wouldn't take a bath for months. And when they came to fight, they were stinking. Then they saw the Muslims polished with perfume and architecture. Said, oh, wow. They took over, we went backwards. So I was in the airport, and we're standing in line. It's taking a few hours to get to the immigration office, and a local brother from the country cut in front of me. Many of us have had that. And by the way, the people in Islamic, mashallah, are beautiful people. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about that. This is an anomaly. All I said was, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil. He looked at me. He said, Shuma Iranians? I said, no, I'm a foreigner, Khariji. Why are you here, brother? Imam Rada. Oh my God, he's here, student. You are Zawar for Imam Rada? I said, yes. Oh, Vibakshi, oh my God. He stood on the side. He kept apologizing. He felt so embarrassed that when he came to our turn, he went to the immigration office and he specifically told them, and I heard him, he said, these are our guests. Welcome them, please. It's an honor to have the guests of Imam Rada. I smiled. I said, wow, we didn't have to go deep. I just mentioned the name of a great personality. That's the power of imamat. That instantaneously, when you understand the power of Ahlul Bayt, you don't have to discuss akhlaq. It becomes just natural. You become so aware. Your khulq just naturally fits in and you start to move in the direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was such a pleasant surprise when you see that you realize if I can instill that into my child and into our children, not in fake storytelling, but real substantive character where a child holds on to them and considers them to be role models, then imagine the drug dealers will fail. The evil people will fail because this child will say, I'm sorry, I can't associate me with that. We don't do that these days. We don't. We've recycled religion too much. We've lost that spirit of greatness. And it's not difficult to practicalize that. I'm simply giving an example. One simple example. You go to Arba'in, the walk, see how giving the people are. Poor people on the street just feeding you. They don't want any money. You offer them money, they walk away. But you think they need money, they are poor. They said, not today. In the name of Imam Hussain, he was so sacrificial that we're going to walk this entire pathway because we love our Imam. That's the power you and I need to have. The power of uprightness so that we become good role models. It's a big difference between that akhlaq and those who are promoting power and wealth and the abuse of misogynism and abuse of zina and abuse of child molestation. It's a big difference. أَفَمَنْ كَانَ مُؤْمِنًا لا يستطيع أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم. Can you compare somebody whose face is on the ground, loving this world, and the one who's upright? Allah says it's a big difference. Let's teach our children good morals in the names of Ahlul Bayt. Our blessed Imams were stellar in their conversation. Read their sentences. One sentence, you'll spend a lifetime talking about it. We've ignored it. We've ignored it. The Quran is ignored in our communities. How often do our children speak Quran and talk it? We've forgotten it. We just are busy praising Ahlul Bayt every single time. Praise, praise. Ahlul Bayt need to be praised. But the greatest way to praise Ahlul Bayt is to say, Imam Hussain Imam Zainul Abideen, I love you so much. I heard you were the walking, talking Quran, and therefore I followed that path. Now that's love. We don't do that. We use excuses, Arabic is difficult for us. Allah 4 times repeats in Surah Al-Qamar, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We made Quran easy to remember. Who will bear? Who will take that? Oh, I'm too old. Really? The Quran is shifa. Imam Khomeini rahmatullahi alayhi says, on Judgment Day, you will see the most magnificent creations. And you will wish they were your friends. That creation will look at you and says, you could have been my friend. He said, who are you? He says, I'm Surah such and such. But you ignored me. I was there to be your friend, but you ignored me. We are still looking at each other. Yeah, like we have, unfortunately, really, while it's beautiful what we do in our limited ways, somebody dies, Yasin. We've recited Yasin thousands of times. Do we know the meaning? No, it's formula. It's triggered, abracadabra. Sesame opens the door. Is that how it works? With all due respect. And I'm not addressing this audience. I'm addressing the world, I'm addressing me. Particularly myself. When I read the Quran sometimes, I said, wow, I never read this ayah. No, I have. Because I've read Quran many times. I get sad. Shame on me. I've been busy doing dumb things when I could have learned this one. Allah says, oh, you have just put your finger into this vast ocean. And that drop has taken you where you are. Imagine if you dove into it. But we don't. So I conclude tonight. Please, it's never too late. I don't care if you're 2,000 years old. Never too late. Like the great scholar who was busy reading. He said, you are a great scholar. You've made thousands of people to come to Islam. You're dying on your deathbed. Why are you reading? What's the use of reading? You're going to die soon. The answer was profound. He says, I am ashamed to go to Allah ignorant. Now that's an answer. We have it. We have it. This ayah of the Quran is profound. Surah Al-Fath, the last verse. Muhammad Rasulullah, Muhammad is the messenger of God. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّهُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّهُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم. Those who are with the Prophet are firm against disbelief. أَشِدَّهُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم. They are merciful to each other. So Allah is saying, you love the Prophet, be merciful to each other. Not fault finding, not backbiting, not character assassinating, not holding jealousy. If a brother or sister is doing well, pray for them. And I told you the first day, tawakkul. What is tawakkul? Knowing that Allah's treasury is infinite. But if I don't believe in His treasury, if I don't believe that Allah is the giver, then I will take from people. But if I believe Allah's treasury is infinite, we say to Allah, give this person more and give me more. We don't do that many times. We can't see it. Karbala was because of jealousy. Every transaction was because of jealousy. But I conclude in the akhlaq, and it's very pragmatic, brothers. It's not complicated. It requires planning, standing, taking the step. And you'll be surprised. Today, we have a camp facility. I'm not showing off. I'm just expressing an ignorant person like me with little capability. 11 years ago, we had nothing. Today, we built a camp. Thousands of kids from around the world come. We have schools. We have a K-12 school. We have a family club in Houston. Tens of millions of dollars in investment. We're nothing. Allah says, you took one step, I completed for you. I am so energized with that. Not to say to you, I've done anything great. But what if we as a community thought that way? We took steps. We planned it without holding each other, at bay, and come together and put the people in charge and say, we will support you. Go forward. Our next generation needs to be saved. Otherwise, we're going to lose our next generation. So I'm a nobody. I'm nothing great. But Allah has shown me, look, you took one step and you're traveling the world and you have all this. And I said, wow, what if our community did this together? Where would we be on the global scale? But many of us don't believe it's possible. Many of us think, no, I know very little, I'm jahil. Who is not jahil? I sit on a pulpit. You think we know everything? Of course not. Allah is saying to the Prophet, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Our messenger, pray, increase my knowledge. The Prophet of Allah, who had the most knowledge on earth among all creations. Allah says, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. When do we stop? So please, let's struggle with each other. Let's make institutions. It doesn't take much. It takes a little effort. Opening up a book, reading. If our children don't read, encourage them to read. Reading is so powerful. It sharpens the mind. It sharpens the vocabulary. It calms us down. It makes us wiser. Do we encourage that? So Imam Zainul Abideen was a teacher among all teachers. Say this sajidin. This ayah, رحماء بينهم. Allah says, تَرَاهُمْ رُكَّعًا سُجَّدًا يَبْتَغُونَ فَضْلًا مِنَ اللَّهِ. You will see them doing ruku and sujood, seeking the grace of Allah. سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ مِنْ أَثَرِ السُّجُودِ. You will see signs of prostration on their face. ذَلِكَ مَثَلٌ فِي التَّوْرَاةِ وَمَثَلٌ فِي الْإِنْجِيلِ كَزَّرٍ أَخْرَجَ شَطْأَهُ فَآزَرَهُ فَاسْتَغْلَظَ فَاسْتَوَى عَلَى سُوقِهِ يُعْجِبُ الزُّرَّاعَ لِيَغِيظَ بِهِمُ الْكُفَّارِ. God says we raise this tree and it reaches the skies and it enrages the disbelievers. Isn't that what we should be doing? Establish foundations. Don't allow our children to get lost. The way Luqman spoke to his son, he says, Ya bunayya la tushrik billah. Inna shirka la dhulmun adhim. Ya bunayya aqim as-salah wa'mur bil ma'ruf wanha 'anil munkar wasbir 'ala ma asabak inna dhalika min 'azmi al-umur wa la tusair khaddaka lin-nas wa la tamshi fil ardi maraha inna Allah la yuhibbu kulla mukhtalin fakhur waqsid fi mashik waghdud min sawtik inna ankara al-aswat la sawtu al-hamir. What an advice. Fathers, mothers should be giving such advice to our kids. Kids will not go astray. When you look at them eye to eye with love, it says, my son, don't associate anyone with Allah. It's a grievance. It's a grievous act. My son, maintain prayers. My son, aqim as-salah, promote good, forbid evil, and be patient with the trials of this world. It is a difficult task. Inna dhalika min azmi al-umur. Do not turn your face away from the people. La tusa'ir khaddaka lin-nas. When you walk the streets, you come to the mosque, never turn your face away from people. If it's Muslim or non-Muslim, look at them with a smile, welcome them. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal maw'idati al-hasana. When I speak in this fashion, I see the Imams in front of us, looking at us and says, the Prophet is saying, I'm your template. Follow me. You won't fall apart. You won't fall with like the rest of them are falling like flies today. And you won't do harm. You look at us. This is why we celebrate these events. The way Luqman gave his advice to his son, the Imams give advice to us. لا تستعير خدك للناس لا تمشي في الأرض مرحا. Don't walk on earth exultingly. Don't be a show-off. إن الله لا يحب كل مختال فخور. Indeed, Allah doesn't love anybody who shows off. Lower your demeanor and lower your voice. واقصد في مشيك واغضض من صوتك. When you speak loud, Allah says, you sound like a donkey. And who likes to hear the donkey screaming? إن أنكر الأصوات لصوت الحمير. Don't be like that. Be gentle. So this is an advice of a father to a son. I advise all of us who are fathers, look at our children with grace. Embrace them. They fall apart when we don't. No science, no medicine can cure that hug. That hug is a greater cure than all medications put together. The smile. When you sit on a dining table, look at your child. Look at your children. Talk to them. Ask them. Tell me. They could be talking not something you're interested in. You don't care. You give them total attention. You pay attention to them. They feel important. You know how many of our youth today lack sense of confidence? They don't even feel right about themselves. They don't perform well in school. Not because they're mentally deficient. It's because the system around is not encouraging. They are broken. They feel the loved one who's supposed to look at me and to hug me and to give me advice is not doing it. And let us put in transaction charity. Today within our community right here, we've got our brothers doing charity work in Africa, in different groups, environmentally conscious. We should encourage our communities to be more involved in that. This is Islam. Everything is Islam. And I conclude by the rahmah of Imam Zainul Abideen tonight. He was so gentle, so loving. That when Allah says, وَسَارِوا إِلَىٰ مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. One of the maids was pouring tea for him and it spilled. Imam looks at it and it spilled on his abba. She got scared. Imam says, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. I free you. My rahmah upon you. That's how the Imam was. Never, ever, ever got angry. Hussain bin Numair in Karbala refuses to give water to Imam Zainul Abideen. Refuses. Imam witnessed his whole family being massacred. Thirsty. The entire day they were burying their soldiers while our blessed Ahlul Bayt was left on the pain fields. The patience. Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Allah is with the sabirin. We have these characters. Imam stands there. I want us to take the essence of this and stop the bickering. I'm not saying this everywhere. Stop. Say, no, I love my Imam too much. Shame on me. This is what the Umayyads would do. Shame on me. Hussain bin Numair comes to Imam Zainul Abideen. He chains him. And Imam Zainul Abideen was only in his 20s. He looked like a young boy. Chains him. Women are held like prisoners, getting ready to mount. Imam says, can I have some water? He says, no. He spills it in front of him. He tells me, no, you can't have it. Imam looks up to the sky and says, I am grateful for this trial. God, you have chosen me. How many of us say that when we have difficulties? Ya Allah, you have chosen me. God, I love the Imams. My love for them is not worship. I just feel so blessed. But I feel sad. Well, this is a happy occasion tonight. But I feel sad. We haven't taken them to value. And I hope it hits the heart. That's why we celebrate, we dress nicely, we congratulate each other, we eat good food. This is all sunnah of Rasulullah. This is all within the prescriptions of deen in Allah. But my Imam was so loving. How many of us have been willing to forgive people? To strike the pen and say, I forgive you. Can you imagine you watch somebody butchering your father and your brothers, and then he spills the water in front of you? You know the vengeance we would have. You can't give it up. Yet the Imam is in Medina. This same Hussain bin Numair is wandering like a lost creature. And Imam notices him. Imam had a cape. He had a hood hidden. And he comes towards him and says, I'm hungry. Imam had water. Imam had grain. Imam pours it for him. As he's pouring, he sees the scar on his wrist. Hussain looks carefully and he says, that's the Imam. Imam looks at him and says, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. I know you stopped me from water. You suffered. You caused suffering on us. We're not like that. We're loving. We're caring. That your animosity, your crocodile heart is going to melt in front of us. This is the Islam we have. Let's put it in action, brothers and sisters. We're too blessed. And our blessed Imam, Sayyid al-Sajidin, left us with Sayf al-Sajadiyah. The du'as. وَانْتَهِ بِنِيَّتِي لَأَحْسَنِ النِّيَّاتِ وَبِعَمَلِي إِلَى أَحْسَنِ الْأَعْمَالِ. Ya Allah, make my niyyah the best of niyyah. Make my actions the best of actions. When I read the du'as of Imam Zainul Abideen, he's massaging me 14 centuries later. He says, while I'm a victim of all these misdeeds, I'm still doing good for you. Now you love me, you go out and do good, and you establish, and you fight the forces, and be afraid of no one. Otherwise, shame on you if you lose your generations. May Allah give us a tawfiq, inshallah. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. I want to first and foremost thank my brother Amin for inviting, for all those of you who are involved in this community, all the ex-presidents who became the pegs and the foundations, Brother Muhammad Kaku, all the previous presidents who were part of this, Brother Kauthar, every one of you, may Allah bless you for the good work that you do. Continue to do good work. Think long term. Establish it. And my family, sends our sincere appreciation for the good work that you do, and our prayers are for your continued success. We say, رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ رَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. We say, رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا. Have mercy, protect us. وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا. And our brothers who preceded us. And don't put hatred. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا. Let's not have hatred for each other. And have mercy upon us, so we continue to grow. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.